Hey there, comic fans. I'm going to try something a little different today. I went to my shelves to find some old comics that I got. And I got a lot of stuff on my shelves, stuff from my childhood. And I decided to pick something a little different and strange out that you may not have seen before. And here I have an entire pile of DC Comics digests from the early 1980s. Now, for you younger collectors out there, let me take you back to a time, the late 70s, early 1980s, when there weren't really any trade paperbacks. The only way you could get old stuff was to find the old stuff. There was the Fireside Marvel Origins books, Origin of Marvel Comics, Son of Origins of Marvel Comics, and that was about it. Smithsonian Book of Comics I remember getting as a kid. But if you wanted to read old comics in the late 70s, early 80s, not a lot of options. And I was also a Marvel Comics kid in the late 70s. I didn't have much use for DC Comics, and that pretty much went on until the Wolfman Perez Teen Titans in the early 80s. But, I still was interested in comics and old DC comics. So in the early 80s, they started putting out DC, I guess you could call them mini trade paperbacks. This is actually, let's see when this is from. December 1981. And it's actually the Neal Adams, Denny O'Neil, Green Lantern. And this is the first place I ever read these. Because in 1981, it's not like there was tons of places you could read I only knew of, I'd heard of this, of course, but it wasn't like I was going to, I think 1981 was the year that the first comic shop opened in my area. But I'd never went to comic conventions as a kid, which was probably the only place you were going to find Neal Adams, Denny O'Neil. 6 award-winning comic classics by Neal Adams and Denny O'Neil in this little tiny digest size. And let's see, 1981, I was 15. So when I was 15, the tiny size didn't even bother my eyes. But now I need reading glasses to see this stuff. But this is like a lot of these are the first introduction to DC older DC comics that I ever had. So let's go through some of them because there seems to be a couple of different 95 cents too. Secret Origins of Superheroes. That looks like the inferior 5. Who else is in it? Let's see. Secret Origin of Green Lantern, inferior 5. A-Man's origin. Who is A-Man? Black Lightning, Sunboy's origin from the. As you can see, they're tiny. And the printing wasn't great, but it was this or nothing. Nice little back to it. So I haven't actually looked at these in 20 years. So I'm going along with them. I'm looking at them right with you. Detective Comics. Stop! There have been 11 crimes committed here. Can you match wits with these super sleuths? 1982, this is from, a year later. Once again, you get Batman, Human Target, Elongated Man, Roy Raymond, Batgirl, Robin, Misto, Mystic Detective, Jason Bard, John Jones, Captain Compass, and the Batman. So, a whole wide variety of detective comic stories. And I've always been a fan of variety and anthologies, so for 95 cents in 1982, even if I didn't like all of the stories, look how hard that is to read nowadays. Because even if I didn't like all of the stories, I'd like some of them, and that was fine with me. Justice Society of America. This is probably the first time I read Justice Society of America, because I don't even think they had a regular comic in the 1980s. The Origin of the Justice Society from DC Special 29. The day that dropped out of time, All-Star Comics 35, The Big Superhero Hunt, Brave and the Bold 61, So I think most of this stuff was silver, even Golden Age. Yeah, that's a Golden Age story reprinted here. Let's see what else we... Oh, and these were always fun. Christmas with the Superheroes. And I think they'd actually put new stories featuring the Justice... I'm not sure if they did or not. I think there was only a couple of these that there were new stories in. This is Swinging Christmas Carol, Merry Christmas, Freddie Freeman's Christmas, A Christmas Peril, The Sealman's War on Santa Claus. So, oh, it looks like I just saw some... that looks like some Dan Spiegel art right there. That may have been the new, old Teen Titans stuff. What was this? Irv Novak. That looks like a Golden Age Captain Marvel Jr. story, probably. Oh, a Jack Kirby. I said I haven't looked at these in 20 years. Jack Kirby, The Sandman, The Sealman's War on... Guess that was from his Sandman series. A little Superman, Batman, The Man Who Murdered Santa Claus. Superman, Batman must be from World's Finest. Dick Dillon and Dick Giordano. Interesting stuff. What we got here? And this was a thing they used to do. The top 10 tales of 1981. So that was always a cool thing to get because, like I said, I didn't buy a whole lot of DC comics. Like, it started with the Teen Titans, probably bought a little Batman in the early 80s. But this has got To Kill a Legend, Detective Comics, Batman. Savannah's Noble, a Shazam comic. The Dummy from Sergeant Rock. Oh, I remember that one. Day in the Lives, New Teen Titans. Piper at the Gates of Hell, Weird Mystery. The Haunting, Jonah Hex. The Triumph, Green Lantern. Whatever Happened to the Crimson Avenger from DC Comics Presents. Pursuit of Joy, The Day, a whole what. Whatever the editor is, the Jonah Hex one. Whatever the editor decided was the best. I remember the Whatever Happened to being the Crimson Avenger being a good, poignant little tale. I think he ended up dying at the end or something like that. Spoiler alert from 1981 for you. More Dan Spiegel. That was the Tales of Gotham City. It's the second Dan Spiegel one I think I noticed. The Dying Day of Lois Lane. Let's see what else. Brave and the Bold. Look at all those ones. Probably Brave and the Bold. Dead Man. Oh, so this Can't Hide from Dead Man, Robin Hood, Suicide Squad, Viking Prince. So this is I guess they picked stuff from the 70s and the 60s for these, because that's some 60s stuff right there. Viking Prince. And that looks like Neil Adams, Dead Man stuff, Dead Man Batman. Like I said, I didn't have... There was no way you could see a lot of this stuff. Viking Prince, Joe Kubert from the 60s. It's like there were no trade paperback collections of all this stuff. So it was these or nothing. So I got... And this is the first time I'd ever read Mike Grell's Warlord. What year did this come out? 1981. And I'd heard of Mike Grell's Warlord. And I think this is issues... What issues of Mike Grell's Warlord is this? This is the Demos saga. So I think it's around issue 20. A bunch of issues. Like I said, this is probably... A matter of fact, there's the cover to Warlord 45. So it came out the same time as that. And this is probably right about when I started picking up Warlord. Because like I said, I had heard of it, but I had never seen it around. There was no place I could get back issues. So when this came out, I was excited to read Warlord for the first time. And it was, a saga. They didn't come in story arcs in those days, so that was one of the first ones that did. Justice League of America. 4 full-length classics from 69, 73, 73, and 78. Can't even say I was ever really a big JLA fan, but for... Oh, they're up to $1.25 now. Wonder what year is this? 1982. But, you know, 4 comics for $1.25 in 1982 was a good deal. The Flash and His Friends. This one's thinner, only 75 cents. 6 sensational comics. All Carmen Infantino stuff. I was never a Carmen Infantino fan, but what the heck? It was a fun thing to get back then. What else we got? Ghosts and Other Tales of Terror. So look, they even collected ghosts. No one was buying ghosts. It was amazing. They, but this is a best of, so it's got some nice artwork in it. Look at that, Neil Adams and Dick Giordano artwork from Ghosts. So they put the best of the best in here. Looks like more Neil Adams in the front. Not Continuity Studios, pardon me, but Neil was in Continuity Studios, so. More art. There's a lot of Neil Adams in this. So this is probably a lot of the first, Neil Adams I got. Oh, that was a nice shot right there. That looks like more Neil Adams. Or Continuity Studios, whoever's working it. Nice stuff from look at this. New Teen Titans. This is the stuff that actually started me buying DC Comics, which was New Teen Titans issue 3, maybe was the first one I picked up. But here's old, it's New Teen Titans, but that's old Teen Titans stories. Carmen Infantino stuff. Looks like some Dick Dillon stuff in there. Interesting. Does it tell you who does it here? They said this is from 1981. Teen Titans number 20, Teen Titans 21, 22. Oh, Nick Cardy stuff in here, and 24. So, this is the 60s Teen Titans. It must be one story, kind of. That's a new George Perez cover. Wonder if that's ever been printed anywhere but on this digest size one. Doom Patrol. I don't think I'd ever read any Doom Patrol at this point. I don't think Doom Patrol was published since the 60s in 1982. Because this is all 60s Doom Patrol. I don't even think there was any Doom Patrol in the early 80s. Legion of Superheroes. This is probably all 60s stuff too. Oh, some Meet the Legion stuff. That might have been new. I don't even know. Some old Legion. House of Mystery. This must be the best artist collected stuff like they had. Tony D. Zuniga. That looks like Bernie Wrightson right there. So I guess they probably cherry-picked the best stuff from House of Mystery. Who is this? Bill Draught. I don't know how to say his name. I remember him from a lot of this stuff in the... what's the name of this story? The Guy in the Ice. That looks like some Alex Toth right there. I always enjoy Alex Toth's stuff. Snow Fun. Nice mystery story. Let's see what else we got. Green Arrow. This is probably all the 60s stuff since there wasn't a lot of Green Arrow. Neil Adams Green Arrow. I probably have more Neil Adams in these little digest size than I had in any other stuff because he wasn't drawing a lot of stuff in the late 70s, early 80s. Some 60s Neil. Some 60s. A second Legion. Let's see, who did that cover? It's Keith Giffen cover. Must be from his era of doing the Legion, but I'm guessing it's old Legion stuff. Yeah, it's all Legion stuff from the 60s once again. Oh, and the 70s. That looks like some Mike Grell Legion from the 70s. It was an interesting little Metal Men. I remember having a few issues of the Metal Men. It's where I first saw Walt Simonson's work. But this is earlier than that. Pardon me. All Metal Men stuff from the 60s, it looks like. Oh, an Ed Hannigan cover. He did a lot of interesting type work covers. Now we're back with our Ed Hannigan cover. He did a lot of nice cover designs in the early 80s for Marvel and DC. This is all 60s. 60s Superman Kryptonite stories. Adventure comics. Sure, once again, all 60s Adventure Comics reprints, something else I had never read at the time. Some Aquaman. Oh, that's right. Here's Adventure Comics 49. They printed Adventure Comics at this. They stopped printing the regular Adventure Comics series, and it all went to this format. Now I remember. So we have Adventure Comics 491, 92. 93, 90. So if you're an Adventure Comics collector, you got to track these down, because there weren't regular Adventure Comics on the stands at this time. There was just these. How was that? I forgot these even existed. Oh, that's a nice Gil Kane cover. Let's see. Was this new? This was new stuff. Or not? No, it could be all reprints. That's an old Legion reprint. And there's Adventure Comics 500. I think this is the all Legion story. I think this is the only Adventure Comics 500 that exists. I don't think there's others. I don't think there's a comic book version of Adventure Comics 500. That's interesting. I completely forgot that Adventure Comics moved all the way over to digest size for a year or so, because I think they canceled it at issue 500. Yeah, so I've got 492 through. This is all Adventure Comics 492 through 500. I don't know if there's any Adventure Comics collectors out there, but these would be the one. And they have all new covers, though. That's a nice Supergirl cover right there. Let's see if any others pop out at me. Ross Andru Superman cover. Another nice Supergirl cover there for you Supergirl collectors. She's blown a spitball, the Legion of Super Weaklings. So it's a nice, I guess Gil Kane did a few of them. That's a nice Legion one. But there you go. I figured I'd pull these off my shelf and share them with you just for the heck of it. That's all, you know. A good two-pile. I haven't looked at these in 20 years, but I sure did enjoy them back in 1981 and 1982. All right, so you guys have a good day out there.